It's the Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by ANZ Home Loans for financial well-beings.
And welcome back to another episode of the Real Estate Breakfast as we bring you property news 7 days a week, as heard on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify and Amazon. Hope your working week is going the way that you hope on this Thursday morning. It is September the 5th. I hope your springtime week has been a busy one. Today we've decided to jump in the car and head a little bit further north, this time into the Mackay region of Queensland. And we're going to catch up with Tina Sander, who is a real estate professional working from Harcourts, Mackay. And Tina, welcome to the Real Estate Breakfast this morning. You are in a great little spot there.
Thank you, Craig. Thanks for having me. Yes, we do live in paradise, that's for sure. It's gorgeous.
As far as your area is concerned, very interesting. If you go all the way back to the GFC, it was going, Mackay as a region was going pretty great guns. Then, unfortunately, the GFC hit. I just want you to sort of talk to that, because we were just saying yesterday what was happening in the regional areas with people selling up. They're still performing pretty well with profits reaching up to 245,000. That is the highest since 2009. I know it's a little bit different in Mackay because it really just stopped after the GFC for those people that bought before GFC. So perhaps you could just sort of explain that to our listeners, and then what's been happening over the last few years.
So yeah, basically pre-GFC, Mackay was in incredible condition from a real estate perspective. We are very heavily impacted by the mines here. So coal prices were strong, real estate prices were high. There was lots of confidence in the market. Then, as we all know, GFC hit and it impacted the property prices in Mackay very, very dramatically. So if people purchase a home here for, say, $600,000 between 2010 and 2013, 3 or 4 years later, it was basically worth $300,000. Since COVID, as we all know, COVID did the real estate industry globally a favour. It's only been since COVID that we've seen a significant shift north. So there's been a significant swing in the prices in Mackay, which is incredible to see. There's great confidence around. People are finally making profit again in real estate, which is just amazing to witness and amazing to see. We find ourselves currently in a beautiful marketplace. It's incredible.
Yes. Now, the reason that I got you to explain that, of course, is it's quite a long period of time. Somebody has bought pre-GFC. We're going all the way back to 2007, 2006. And for those that have decided to hold on to their properties, not everybody, of course, was in that situation. Some had to sell for a loss. But because of COVID, they've been able to get all that money back in terms of what the value of the property is.
Yes, absolutely correct. And I mean, for the last couple of years, it's just been great, like better than great. It's been amazing to see people finally get back what they paid and then start making a little bit of profit. And the last 2 years in Mackay have been truly incredible from a real estate standpoint. And specifically this year, like we just are consistently seeing beautiful results for our homeowners around the region. There's a lot of people buying in Mackay, which is just brilliant to see. And I say to people all the time, when real estate markets are strong, it just creates confidence, especially in a regional community. Like, you know, Mackay's a beautiful city, great people, lots of people stay here for their entire lifetimes. And when real estate's strong, it's exciting and it's confidence building.
Yes, we've sort of turned the spotlight on Mackay in the past, and one of the talking points almost 12 months ago is we were talking about the first home buyers. As you mentioned, a lot of people moving in, and it seems to be one of those locations that has an appetite from people, first home buyers from out of state even.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, COVID saw, as we know, a lot of people, all demographics, all different ages, moving up from down south because of COVID. But I think what's basically happened is the prices down there have escalated significantly since all the lockdown finishes. So a lot of the first home buyers have migrated this way, but it's not just the first home buyers, it's investors and empty nesters. I just think people are seeing absolute true value in Mackay and surrounding regions. Like, we're an hour and a half from Early Beach and the Whitsundays. We have some of the best fishing in the world. There's lots of different industries here where people can, build a significant career and live a beautiful life. So I think it really is Mackay's time to shine in regards to all the, incredible traits attached to it.
Now, if you're thinking of Mackay, I want to point out something, and that is in terms of how many people live in Mackay. What is the population? Because if you go to Domain, it's not Domain's fault because they're reporting on a suburb of Mackay, but it's the CBD, and you might not know what the population of Mackay is. Off those stats from Domain, you'll see 5,000 as a population, when in fact, Mackay, it has a population around that 140,000. So there's a big difference between 140 and 5,000, Tina.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing with Mackay is that there's 25 to 30 suburbs, all with the same postcode of 4740. So if you search population of Mackay, just the word Mackay, it will come up with the 5,000 because it's just the CBD itself. But the entire Mackay and surrounding regions, it's 140,000.
So, bit of a difference, and we will come back. We'll come back in just a moment to you, Tina, and find out more about what is happening in Mackay this morning.
Every week, we present so much real estate. Powerful, up-to-date news every morning from 6 a.m. Know your property with us on the Real Estate Podcast.
Now, we've talked about just how much some of these sums of money that mum and dad banks are paying out for their children. You might have seen this a couple of days ago, a father who paid out big to buy his daughter a North Bondi home, nearly $7 million. Yeah, that's not our parents, is it? I mean, if you can get $70,000 from your parents, you are doing extremely well. I think the range falls somewhere between 20 and 50K these days. That's an awful lot of money. And talking of money, Australia's economy grew by 0.2% in the June quarter, but annual growth slowed to 1%. Household spending, which drives over half of the economic activity, that increased by just 0.5% over the past year, with a 1.1% drop in spending on transport services, hotels, cafes and restaurants, as Jim Chalmers explained yesterday at the press conference.
I thought that the balance of risks in our economy was shifting, because what we've really seen in the economy, what we anticipated in the budget, was that we would need to maintain a primary focus on inflation, and we have. But as growth is soft and subdued, we got a lot of free advice at budget time. People wanted us to cut harder and harsher. People were putting to me all kinds of ideas, which represented, in my view, a version of kind of scorched earth austerity, slash and burn in the budget. And we now know that would have been diabolical.
From buying strategies, a fluctuating market, the importance of data, geographical differences, confidence in the market, rental yields. Stay informed every morning from 6 a.m.
And it is a Real Estate Thursday, and we are up in Mackay. We are talking to Tina, a town of 140,000 people and not 5,000 people. Just having a look at the owner and the renter split there, Tina. I see that the makeup of that is 33% people that own their property, and the rental market sitting at 67%. What is actually happening in that rental space at the moment?
Yeah, the rental market here is, I guess, as buoyant as the sales market. Because of the mines here, we do have a very big transient population. So it does bring a lot of investors to buy in the area, but then obviously it's giving housing for tenants. We do have a legitimate rental shortage in Mackay. Like, the vacancy rate is under 1%.
Now, just a step over the median house price, because people will be wanting that information, as well as where the unit price is at.
So the median house price is around the 467 mark at the moment, and then the units at 295,000.
And you mentioned before the break that people are starting to come into Mackay in terms of investors, and it was earlier in the year that Mackay was highlighted as one of the best regions nationally to invest. So, the investors take notice of that and they've acted accordingly.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen a significant shift earlier in the year in regards to the number of investors purchasing here. But 6 weeks ago, we've seen another lift. So probably 50% of our inquiry at the moment is investors from interstate, and probably 50 to 60% of our offers are from investors from interstate.
And tell us a little bit about, you've got a property, I think, which is coming up to auction maybe next week. And the property currently owned by an American-British producer who is the stepson of C.S. Lewis. So this is a little bit of famous activity going on, and it's a 63-acre property spread over a very large block by the sound of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was sent an email about 6 months ago from his family just to have a conversation. And we've been working on it for the last 6 months to, bring it to fruition. It's truly incredible. It's a 7-minute boat ride off the mainland. It is a genuine slice of paradise. It's incredible.
It's a boat ride. It is Shoal Point. Is that the location?
Correct. So Shoal Point is one of the suburbs in Mackay. It's in a little pocket called the Northern Beaches. You can see the island from the mainland. Quite a lot of the locals didn't even know it had houses on it because they're so nicely protected and tucked away in a little bay behind the island.
And I guess the locals would have no idea that there's a little bit of fame there with the stepson of C.S. Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's very well known in the UK and America. So he decided to buy the island here because he wasn't known so well in Australia, let alone North Queensland. So it allowed him, since 2009 to fly in and fly out and bring his family here with no one knowing who they were, basically. So the family are very sad to see the island go, but it's a change in his life now and it's time for them to move forward.
All right then, Tina. Well, we'll leave it on the famous note there from C.S. Lewis. Great to find out a little bit about your location there at Mackay. 140,000 people, plenty of people moving in, investors as well. Hey, enjoy your Thursday and thank you so much for coming on to the Real Estate Breakfast this morning.
Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it.
From interest rates rising, a shifting landscape, rentals running hot, clearance rates, a tight rental market, we cover it all every morning from 6 a.m. on the Real Estate Breakfast.
The Queensland State Government recently changed the price points for some of the first homeowners grants. So for new builds up to 750,000, people can claim the first homeowners grant. And we've also seen the stamp duty concessions change from 5 to 550, having some benefits, to now being between 7 to 800,000, which ties in relatively well for entry-level opportunities on the Sunshine Coast, allowing those first home buyers to have a bit of choice in the market at present.
Now, since we're talking about median values, we better look at the Maroochydore market in terms of what is happening with those.
Absolutely. So the Maroochydore median house price sitting just shy of 1.1 million at the moment, and the median apartment price just shy of 800,000. We almost, I guess, with the apartment space, have almost two different markets within that. Some of the most expensive properties in Maroochydore are actually the high-end apartment space, along with a number of entry-level sort of townhouses, brick and tile, and two-bedroom apartments.
We unpack all the important stuff so you're better informed. Know your property with us on the Real Estate Podcast. We connect you to the best real estate information across Australia. The Real Estate Podcast.